I knew 99% of the time I was living either in the past or the future. I was literally in my head thinking mostly about my past, which is exactly the same thought pattern I was having the day before. Even when I was thinking about the future, it was based on the false assumptions I have of my past self. It was like a tape playing the same song over and over again. I was like a robot. The same thoughts, the same reaction, the same life. I was dead to the present. I knew I was stuck in the illusion of time. You see, for time to exist, there must be a reference. For this, your mind uses your current 5 senses in the now as a reference to create a past or future memories or thoughts. But these are only in your memories or imagination. Nothing more. The more you think about them, you imagine them, and you start to think from them. And they become alive or real. Hence, imagination is all there is. Just like Neville says, imagination is the only reality. One funny thing happened one day. So there I was thinking about this time concept, and I had a real understanding. The person that I called I was literally just a memory attached to feelings and not my real identity. My fears, hopes, and expectations were all just memories based on my past experiences and assumptions. If something erases my memory completely, who would I be? What would be left of me? Who would I be? So the I thought I was, never existed and doesn't exist. That's why they call it the phantom self. And it kept me stuck because I've never lived in the present moment. Meditation was helpful with this understanding because when you meditate, you are bringing the thinker to the present moment by focusing on your breath. Let me ask you something. How would you answer now if I asked you to show me the proof of yesterday's existence that doesn't involve showing me pictures or videos of it? Naturally, you would tell me a story of how yesterday went and I would imagine it now. That is literally it. Imagination. It's under our nose this whole time. Nobody is to blame here. Cause everything is designed to keep us stuck in the past or future. TV, photos, and videos. It's mostly about some moment that passed or some future thing that will happen. Your past, yesterday, is only a memory. You give it life by believing it and rehearsing it. So what are you doing right now, at this exact moment? Cause that's all there is. No future hope, no past regret, no guilt. So imagine, create and do what you want now. Cause at this moment, you are totally perfect. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Neville Goddard. Many people struggle with this quote, both in comprehension and execution. What is an assumption, and what does it mean to persist? In order to help those who are still lost in confusion, let's break it down. Assumption, a thing that is accepted as true or is certain to happen, without proof. Persisting, continue firmly or obstinately in an opinion or a course of action in spite of difficulty, opposition, or failure. With these two definitions laid out, we can then come to the conclusion that the quote above is telling us. That an assumption does not have to be rooted in reality at all, and that an assumption or an idea can be formed from anything about anything or anybody at any time. The idea of persistence is to continue moving forward in order to reach a certain goal, destination, or solution, even in times when the end goal may seem out of reach. Therefore, if we have a certain desire in our hearts that we wish to become true, we accept that it already is true and remain consistent and steadfast in that decision until it becomes solidified in our reality. Okay, that all sounds very nice. But how do I actually do it? We don't have to believe our assumptions right away, do we? How do I pull this off in actual practice? No, you don't have to believe your assumptions and affirmations, especially if what you're aiming to manifest is completely different from what you're currently living. But remember the definition above. An assumption doesn't have to be rooted in reality at all. How do you put this into practice? Brazen impudence. The definition of brazen is to face defiance or impudence. An impudent person is bold, sassy, and shameless. If your teacher asks the class to open their textbooks and you snap back, "Let's not," and say "We did," you're being impudent. In your mind, mentally, you become so defiant and shameless in accepting your assumption as the reality that there is nothing that can deter you from achieving your desire. You become unrelenting, stubborn, and solidified in your decision so securely that no matter what you see in the 3D reality, you do not take no for an answer. Under no circumstances do you allow the 3D to overtake you because circumstances don't matter. They can be changed. So now that we know exactly what the quote means and we have a roadmap of how to go about it, you may find yourself asking, but how do I keep going when the 3D seems so real? The answer to that is knowing that circumstances can change. That 3D may feel very real due to our senses and perception. But if everything that has ever existed has once been thought, it stands to reason that our imagination is the source of creation. So if we persist in our imagination scenes or affirmations, our reality will surely change. You don't have to believe in it. You just have to commit. Think about it. When you were a baby, you didn't just start walking immediately, right? You crawled, then you took a few steps and fell. You didn't give up and never walked again, right? No, you cried, threw a tantrum, pooped in your Pampers, and then kept going. And kept going. Next thing you knew, walking became second nature. Some people even literally do it in their sleep, for better or worse. So what does this mean? Consistent repetition of a thought or action will eventually become hardwired into a habit. Or, as the above quote says, an assumption, though false if persisted in, will harden into fact. And guess what? We have so many scientific studies that prove that habits are formed by repetition. Therefore, all this is simply a war of attrition between your old and new thoughts. Stay on the course, and you're guaranteed success. The goal should be changing your mind to believe that you don't have to worry, stress, or work hard for anything anymore. You already have it. Persistence is key. I know you've all heard that by now. Persist in those techniques, and persist in reminding yourself that you have it already. Persist when, oh, I don't like what's happening here, but I don't have to react because I don't need to. Persist in repeating who you are now in the present moment. Start affirming I am in a relationship with my SP, or I'm having the most beautiful wedding. Or this vacation that I'm going on will be fun, despite the circumstances you may be facing. Listen and watch out for your mind to have a counter-rebuttal or negative thought and challenge it. Answering those thoughts back is a sure way to grow. If you keep running from them, you're keeping them there by saying this is something I have to run from. Answer your mind when it starts thinking negatively. Okay, this is what I'm thinking right now and I really feel as though it is true, but I know that it's not. This is temporary because I am conscious of being the person I want to be. I'm aware that I don't have to worry about it any longer because it means nothing. What I am aware of is the only reality. When your mind tells you you're being delusional, you can't achieve this. This will never be real. You don't have to be afraid of acknowledging it and answering it. No, I have changed my mind already. I can achieve whatever I set my mind to, and I am doing so. Nothing can come to stop it because I've made up my mind. It's already done. From that mindset, you will start consciously manifesting effortlessly. Another big tip is to stop trying. To admit that you are trying to accomplish something means that you're subconsciously telling yourself it's not done yet. I have to keep trying. Get out of the habit of that. I mean that with love. Tough love I wish I had 3 years ago. Get out of the habit of trying and do it. I am manifesting the life I want. I am not trying. I am doing it and it's going great. I am building financial stability, and I'm doing great. I am changing my mind on this money subject. Money is super easy to come by. I am beautiful and I am strong. I am choosing to be more aware of believing that. I am choosing to remember that this is who I am. Self-love is important, not necessary, but I'm an advocate of it. Once you love yourself and who you are and you build your confidence, the problem seems too big. You'll have the faith in yourself, your mind, and your abilities to accomplish. You will overcome anything thrown your way. Think of the most inspirational person in your life, be it a celebrity, or your best friend, or your mom. Would you not agree that they think highly of themselves? Or they're at least sure of themselves and confident in what they speak? That they think of themselves as worthy of where they are in life? Don't you think that once they set their mind to something, they can accomplish it no matter what? This is not to say that you'll never have problems or suffering or negativity. It's to say you'll have the strength to persevere. You'll have the confidence to see something you don't like, acknowledge it, and change it. Once you are conscious of being the best version of yourself, or of growing in that direction, life's circumstances don't seem to bother you as much. They don't stress you out anymore. It'll feel like, oh, this bill is due tomorrow and I have no money. I know it'll get taken care of. I'm not going to worry about it. It'll feel like, oh, I haven't talked to him today. I know I'll hear from him soon. Must be busy or something. But I know he makes time for me. No worries. That is changing your mind from, oh no, this is something bad, to, oh, whatever. Not stressing about that anymore. It's really nothing to worry about. Your self-talk, the voice of your mind, will naturally start to change from always assuming negatively to assuming more positively. That is our power of being self-aware being. We can choose which life we live based on what we choose to react to, by what we choose to focus on, what we choose to be aware of, what we choose to be conscious of. Please, if you remember nothing else from this, remember that changing your mind will change your outer world. I promise your life will follow the way you want it to. Do it for a week. Be aware of your inner talk and choose to change your mind on the situations you don't like currently, just for a week, and see what happens. When you change your mind, you change your life.